what are your goals for the rest of the year?
Yeah, the natural trajectory as a Red Bull junior driver is to end up at Red Bull, right? I think the only thing I can do now is just I'm so happy within my team, and I'm just learning so much every weekend.
When is the right time to make the step up to Red Bull? If you got the call this year, would you feel ready?
No, but I'll take it. Because I'm a fighter. What drives me is fighting against the best in the world. And to have Max as a teammate, I would learn so much.
Isack, it is great to have you on the show. How are you?
I'm very fine, actually. Right now I feel good. Had a bit of time off, so I feel in shape.
Le Petit Prost. I think that is such a great nickname. Alain has been on the show a couple of times.
Yeah. I met him in... Actually, now I've met him twice in 1 week. So I met him properly for the first time in Monaco. Got to talk very briefly. And I saw him again at Roland Garros. So yeah, we got to talk a bit more. We didn't talk about my nickname, because I would find it a bit arrogant to say, oh, have you seen... I'm called just like you, when he's a 4-time world champion.
Isn't he a lovely man, though?
He's, very impressive.
What game were you watching at Roland Garros?
Djokovic against Sinner. So I really wanted to see Djokovic play, because, I think I can watch Sinner and Alcaraz for a long time, but Djokovic not so much, because he's getting older, and I wanted to make sure I can see him properly.
Le Petit Prost, do you know where that's come from?
Yeah, I remember exactly where the first time I heard it from Helmut was, I was in his office in Austria. I was biting my nails. He said, oh, you're just like Prost, because apparently he was doing that as well.
Oh, so did Jean Todt. Jean Todt had little bandages around the end of his fingers, because he...
Okay, well, I'm not that much, not doing that much, but I think it all started from this.
You are nigh on halfway through season number 1.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how things have gone. First of all, what's been the hardest thing for you to get used to in Formula 1?
My time management, I would say. Like, schedule-wise, it's very busy now. Like, already in F2, I felt like this was quite tricky. But now Formula 1 feels twice more. And not only on track, but also off track. Like, planning in advance where I'm going to stay, what's ideal for me to recover, when do I want to maximize time with friends or family, alongside all the media commitment and obviously the racing. So it's finding that balance is very, very difficult.
But the actual driving, how difficult has that been?
Very hard. I remember the first time I drove an F1 car, I was like, this may be a bit too difficult. And the second time as well, the third time as well. And then actually...
What was so difficult?
It's just too fast. The first time you go into this car is just such a big step to F2. I remember at the time I was doing one FP1 every 5 or 6 months. So every time it felt like a reset. And I think the proper day I had, my first proper day, was in Abu Dhabi, the rookie test. I got to actually have a whole day for myself. And actually during this day I made so much progress. And I finally got a hand on an F1 car. I was like, okay, this is okay, I can do it.
Isack, that's interesting, because it suggests that the simulator doesn't actually prepare you for the speed.
It doesn't prepare you for the G-force, that's for sure. I think on a technical aspect it does. The way, how to drive it now. Right now when I use the sim, now that I'm used of the speed of an F1 car, the sim is a great tool. But when you're a rookie, you go into an F1 car for the first time, the sim is not going to help you out. It's just so much to take into. Your brain is overloaded with information that you just don't get it.
And how different are the inputs from the cockpit compared to F2? Are you having to stamp on the brake harder? Are you having to be have a little bit more finesse with the wheel and everything? Just the way you drive.
You're fighting more the car in F2, a lot more. It's more unpredictable. I think the F1 car gives you a lot of confidence to push it fast. I think it's in F1 it's not very easy. I think it's quite easy to be competitive, to be fast, but the last few tenths I think are much more harder to find than an F2 car. An F2 car is quite easy to push on the limit. The F1 car, I feel like all the way to Q3 on that final lap, you can always find extra performance because these cars have so much performance that you really need to dig very deep.
And where are you digging? Is it under braking? Is that
It's
the main
mainly,
performance differentiator?
I think what the F1 car is very impressive is that entry mid phase of the corner, where like most of the time the car is not moving, and it's a very fine line between losing the car and the car being stuck on rails. So you kind of have to play with that, and there's always more and more lap time to find on the brakes. So I think it's very, very challenging.
How much spare capacity do you have when you're behind the wheel?
Enough to adjust the settings on my steering.
But with experience, do you get more and more spare capacity?
Yeah, especially I think during the race I'm quite good at properly take time to talk with my engineer and about what's going on, giving the right feedback. I think on the qualifying lap it's pretty, I don't even have time to think about anything else. I think it's pretty exhausting.
What bit of the weekend do you enjoy the most?
Qualifying.
Definitely qualifying?
By far.
Why? Because that's all about performance.
It's all about raw speed. It's what I enjoy the most. I would say my best exercise so far in my career has always been the racecraft, the race pace. But qualifying is definitely the most interesting exercise in terms of adrenaline-wise.
And there's no compromise, right? In the race, strategy comes into play, tyre wear comes into play. Whereas, particularly with the 2025 spec Pirellis, a quali lap is just
full push.
Full push. Yeah.
It is amazing.
Yeah,
it's especially on track with low deg, when like Japan. It was. I think Japan was the most enjoyable qualifying session with Monaco. These were the peak adrenaline I felt.
Can you just visualize Sector 1 at Suzuka for me now?
Yeah.
On a Q3 lap. Tell me what you're doing.
I think most satisfying one is definitely turn 1 and 2. So
are you flat through turn 1?
You're easily flat into turn 1. It's not even a thing. Like, you go in, remove your DRS and you stay pinned. And honestly, it's a corner I had a lot of difficulties to, like turn 2 to push the entry, because I feel like in this corner you just need to let your foot on the pedal. You don't need to press it, because there's like just removing throttle, getting off of the throttle is breaking the car down a lot. So you don't need to actually stomp on the brakes. You need to let the car roll a lot. It's a 5th gear corner. And I think for me this is the most enjoyable one. And then the rest you're not breathing the whole way. And it's all about...
You're joking, right?
No.
You're not breathing?
You're not breathing. That's for sure. You're just getting smashed in the car for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corners. And then you get to breathe before Degner 1, which is also one crazy corner. It's minimum speed 265.
Is there a bump at the apex?
There's a bump at the apex.
Yeah.
So it kind of offset the car to the left a bit. So you're kind of aiming for the curb, but you've got to believe the bump is going to push your car a bit to the left, so you're not missing the apex. So if you're looking at the white line, you're aiming for the white line, you're going to miss it by half a meter. So you've got to aim at the apex, the curb. So it's very interesting.
Do you know what I'm loving about this conversation?
Yeah.
Is I feel like I'm talking to Alain Prost. Le Petit Prost. I genuinely think the analytical mind is coming through.
This episode is sponsored by Vanta. When you're running a business, proving your security practices should be one of your main priorities. Whether you're a startup founder tackling your first compliance audit or a security pro looking to streamline risk management, Vanta makes the whole process faster and easier. Vanta is a trust management platform that helps businesses automate security and compliance. It's built to make complex processes faster and easier, helping you get audit ready in weeks instead of months. With Vanta, you can automate compliance for over 35 security and privacy frameworks, including SOC 2, ISO 27001, and the latest European frameworks like the EU AI Act and DORA. That means up to 90% of the work is handled for you, saving you time and up to 85% of costs. Vanta doesn't just help get you compliant, it helps you stay compliant by continuously monitoring risks and streamlining security reviews. Plus, with AI-driven tools, you can complete security questionnaires up to 5 times faster. And it's not just about efficiency, it's about results. A recent IDC white paper found that Vanta customers see $535,000 per year in benefits, and the platform pays for itself in just 3 months. For a limited time, listeners get $1,000 off Vanta at vanta.com/grid. That's VANTA.com/grid for $1,000 off.
What is it about racing that you enjoy the most? Is it the thrill of driving or the thrill of competition?
You've got to have both to be a successful athlete, I think. But what excites me the most is knowing that I'm going against the best in the world, and I want to be the best in the world. So I think it's just a real privileged position to be in. And it's not the thrill really of just driving a car. I mean, F1 car is obviously a next level thing, but I think I enjoy more the fight than actually driving the car.
Is there a fear of failure in there as well?
There's a fear of disappointing myself, really.
Yourself? Just yourself?
Just myself. Since I'm in lower categories, they always talk about pressure and how I'm handling the pressure, especially within the Red Bull junior team. I always had this answer like, no one puts more pressure than I'm doing to myself. So I think I have the highest standards towards me. So yeah, it's only about me and myself.
Not Helmut Marko. The pressure put on. Everyone talks about Helmut being this ferocious team principal, if you like, of the junior program. Yet everything I've heard you say about him is almost the opposite.
I mean, I had a honest relationship with Helmut. He's the person that basically got me a seat in Formula One. He gave me a chance, a path, a trajectory to F1. So I'm grateful for that. And I remember this, my first F2 season was kind of a nightmare. And he kept believing. He offered me a second chance. And I took it and I delivered. So.
And when things were going badly in that first F2 season, how much contact did you have with Helmut?
I didn't have much. Like, he was letting me going through it, which I think was good.
Yeah.
Not adding extra stress on me, which I think was smart. We were 6 in the junior program that year. I was last of all the 6, and I was the only guy remaining for the upcoming season.
It kind of begs the question. You have got to Formula One, it seems, against the odds. That's how it feels. I mean, I read that you weren't even officially told that you got the drive. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, no one told me, oh, hello, Isack, you're an F1 driver. Like, this never happened.
You know, and at the end of last year, Isack, there was all this Franco Colapinto chat of him moving into the Red Bull program. It didn't happen. And here you are. And quite frankly, I think you've been the most impressive rookie so far this year. So everything about you screams toughness, mental toughness, physical toughness. I mean, physically you look like Fernando Alonso already. You train hard, clearly.
Yeah, I do.
Go on, give me some stats, like on your neck. What can you shift with your neck?
Honestly, not more than any other drivers. There's guys out there have been in Formula One for many years now. Like, they're strong. I tell you, they are very, very strong. Like, honestly, there's races where they're tough. Like Barcelona, Jeddah, Japan. I can tell you my headdress was pretty damaged.
What, because the G?
Yes. But no, I like training, yeah.
Yuki came on the show last year and talked about his six-pack. An awful lot. I have to say, he's quite proud of his six-pack, old Yuki. But
Yeah.
he thinks he's motivated the mechanics to start looking good as well.
He's fit. Yuki is fit.
Yeah.
He took some muscle, especially this winter. Like, he gained...
How much of this physical strength stems with, or goes back to your judo, your MMA? Because tell me if I'm wrong, but as a kid you did a lot of that, right?
My first sport was judo, so I started at 4, so very, very young, right? And I did 9 years of judo.
How seriously?
Karting came quite soon after that, so then the more I was doing karting, less I was doing judo, right?
Black belt?
Brown belt. I think I need to take a month for myself and go for the black belt.
I think you need to finish the job.
I need to finish the job, but I'm planning on doing that. Trust me. But no, at 13 I was already doing European World Championships in go-kart. I was like,
Can't do
I'm
both.
done. No, I'm done.
Do you still practice MMA as part of your training?
I like doing boxing when I can. It's very, like, time-wise is very difficult, but every time I come back to Paris, I have the gym, and I have someone I know who is my like boxing trainer, let's say. And when I come, I do my physical prep, and then we finish with pads. So I enjoy boxing. I think it's a good way to evacuate a bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes frustration.
Yeah.
It's good to hate something. So yeah, I like since very little I always loved boxing, and more recently MMA, which is a growing sport. So yeah.
I can see a match-up between you and Danny Kvyat, who is a very keen boxer.
Yes.
I'd like to see
He
that.
would beat me up. He would beat me up.
You know Oscar Piastri's physio, Arthur?
I know him.
He was an MMA fighter.
Okay, he looks dangerous.
Yeah.
He looks quite scary, yeah, he does.
Yeah. Well, he keeps Oscar in shape, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Now, look, mentally, let's talk about the mental toughness now, because clearly you've got that. And I suppose it takes us back to Melbourne. I know you've discussed this 1,000 times, but how tough was it to bounce back after what happened on the formation lap?
You don't start your career in Formula 1, right? Like, for me, Melbourne was a hit, but not bigger than all the ones I've had through karting to Formula 1. So I'm used to that.
Even Abu Dhabi at the end of last year.
Yeah, even
F2?
Abu Dhabi is not that tough.
No.
There's been so many moments in my career since very young where I'm realizing I'm not making it to Formula 1. Like, level is too high.
Did you doubt yourself?
Yeah. So many times. I've doubted myself so many times.
What pulled you through those moments?
I'd like to say I'm more passionate about racing than any other drivers. That's what I would like to think. Maybe it's not true. After Melbourne, I was just itching to get back in the car in China. That was the only thing I was thinking about, was just driving the damn car. Yeah, looking back at it, I think during the moment, it was the worst moment of my life. Like, your world is falling apart, literally. You think this is the end. So, like, you become stupid, right? In the car at that time, at the moment. But then you just got to keep fighting, and that's what I did my whole career since I'm 7. So I'm just used to that. And I know there's gonna be a lot of lows in my career, many more to come. But now I know how to handle them.
Did you find a boxing gym on the Monday morning after Melbourne?
No.
I wouldn't have been wanting to be the guy opposite you.
My pillow at home.
Yeah.
It's the only thing.
Isack, can you talk me through what actually happened in the car in Melbourne? I mean, from the outside, it just looked like a simple spin, but did something happen in terms of, was there a power surge or?
No, I think it was just everything put together to end up in that wall, which is, I mean, at that time, tires are not really into temp. Start of the formation lab. I remember being on the white line at that time, which was really slippery. And for some reason, I was in first gear, and I, just by upshifting to second, I had like this kind of bogged down, and the car went a bit nervous, plus the steering angle I had, and it just went, just nothing I could do really. It was, yeah, like the wall was grabbing me, you know. It was
pulling you in.
I felt like when the car snapped, I knew I was going in the wall, and as I was sliding, I was just, I don't know how much force I put into the brake pedal at that time, but I was just praying for the car not to be damaged so I could come back. But it was quite a hit, so that was it.
And look at what happened to very experienced drivers in that race. Fernando Alonso, Carlos Sainz, they ended up in the wall. Did you get some comfort from that?
Obviously. I think but the same, it's like, yes, because this can happen. Would have been more difficult if I was the only one. But at the same time, looking back at the way it happened, yeah, nothing I could have done really. So,
what doesn't break you makes you stronger.
Yeah, it does.
You feel stronger after that experience?
Yeah, much stronger. In junior categories, when you have really low moments, you feel like, I think it feels harder than Formula 1 because you're aiming for F1 at that time, and you know every setback you have is actually pulling you back from that target. Whereas you make mistakes in Formula 1, as long as you know you're a solid driver, you know you're good, you can stay around. It's not the same pressure. Honestly, I remember going into the car for qualifying in Formula 2, I had so much more, I was more anxious than ever. Whereas Formula 1, I have stress, but it's the good one. It's the one like, okay, I'm going to fight. Whereas in F2, it's just, there's so much things out of your control. I think it's much harder to handle. So when you're used to that at such a young age, you go into Formula 1 quite ready.
And how much help have you had from a mental coach to help you compartmentalize your life, and particularly how to manage the stress?
I have someone I'm working with now since, I think first time we properly worked together was Formula 2.
Which season?
Second year. So he came in place like towards the end of the season when I had my disaster season, you know. I think Red Bull pushed for that, and so I started working with him. I wasn't the most interested in that at that time, but
what changed your mind?
Nothing. I just had no choice to do that. I was just.
And then when did you start to accept the advice and the help from the coach?
Was those tests in Abu Dhabi, like post-season tests, when I made the switch from high tech to campus, and he was there for those 3 days. He was like, can you record your sessions like mentally? And I was like, no, I don't really know what you're talking about. Like, I can't really record myself. And so I actually learned after those 3 days. I was like, actually, I don't even know what state of mind I am during the qualifying session, like in the cockpit. And I thought it was a bit of a shame, you know. I was missing on a lot of information. So actually, this was the first step. It was the first time I was like, okay, this is actually interesting. Like, I like to know more. And since then, I'm just made a lot of progress, and it's been 1.5 years now, and we're still working.
Progress in terms of your recall of what's gone on in the car?
Being a master of my mind.
You sure he's not called Jackie, this mine coach, Jackie Stewart? I'm joking, because Jackie talks about mine management
Yes.
the whole time and the importance of it for racing drivers.
Yeah, it is. I think what I think the most exhausting part is a qualifying lap. There's so much to miss out on losing your focus, on shifting your mind to something else. I think it's the most interesting exercise to test your mindset management.
How much do you build up during quali itself? I mean, how different is your Q3 lap compared to your Q1 lap?
It's quite a difference, I would say. I think there's drivers on the grid that, they can deliver very good first Q1 laps. At the moment, you look at my qualifying sessions in Q1, I'm always not easily through to Q2. I think I have a very good car that always fights for Q3. But, sometimes I'm kind of on borderline, to go to Q2 because I don't have that experience and confidence to put it nearly all together on that first attempt. So I'm kind of building step by step. I allow that myself because I actually have a decent car. So I'm kind of lucky in a way. Like even from Q3 run 1 to run 2, it's quite interesting because you kind of you go all in because it's your last attempt.
All in means braking a bit later.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Sending it more everywhere, using more the grip. Sometimes it doesn't work, but most of the time it does because these cars are quite nuts. And I take the example of Max. I think is what's quite impressive so far this season is that in qualifying he's there, Q1, Q2, okay, and even Q3 run 1, you're like he's not a pole position contender at this time. Like it's not. And even with all that experience he has, all the talent he has, he manages to extract even more on that final attempt. And he kind of, which I think is very impressive, is that under pressure, he kind of put it all together and finds extra lap time. I think at this level to find like 3/10s is quite impressive.
Do you analyze all of the drivers on the grid, or is it just a handful, people like Max?
Out of curiosity, Max, because I don't need to analyze him. He's not an opponent right now. So I'm mostly looking at midfield cars. The Williams drivers, Alonso. So I'm actually looking at them, but out of curiosity, I want to know what the high level is,
Do you think Max is the benchmark at the moment?
Yeah. I think today is not very close.
How close are the two teams, Racing Bulls and Red Bull Racing? Do you ever, if you asked to see Max's data, could you get it?
No. I can have the thing what everyone has, like the GPS trace.
Right, okay.
But not no clue about the whole thing.
This episode is sponsored by Shopify. The origins of this podcast were once just a dream. That dream turned into the podcast and business that you're listening to today. Starting your own business or bringing your own ideas to life is a dream that lots of us share, but too many of us let them remain that way. Don't hold yourself back by thinking, what if I don't have the skills? What if I can't do it alone? Turn those what ifs into why nots with Shopify by your side. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. What if I can't design a website? Shopify gives you hundreds of beautiful, ready-to-use templates to match your brand's style, no coding needed. What if I need help? Shopify's AI tools assist with writing product descriptions, editing images, and even building discounts and headlines. What if no one hears about my brand? Shopify helps you create smart email and social media campaigns to find your audience wherever they are. And what if I get stuck? Their award-winning 24/7 support is always there to help. So turn those dreams into and give them the best shot at success with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/beyondthegrid. Go to shopify.com/beyondthegrid. Shopify.com/beyondthegrid. Now, your fandom of Lewis Hamilton is well known now.
Yeah, it is.
Do you hang out?
No, with Lewis. I don't think any drivers hangs out with Lewis. I mean, especially like you can get along fine, but there's also, you know, age difference, which is a lot. And
Do you chat?
yeah, I do.
Drivers parade.
I do.
What kind of stuff?
I think sometimes I kind of ask him questions I wanted to ask like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when he was dominating F1. So I'm like, oh, now that I have the opportunity, I can ask him. So we talk football. We talk. Yeah, I was happy to, you know, Arsenal and PSG were playing.
Of course, Arsenal's Lewis, isn't it?
Yeah. So I was very, very happy bragging out about PSG.
I loved seeing those photographs of you and Pierre Gasly watching PSG.
Emotions.
You were so good though.
Yeah.
In the final.
Oh, it was easy.
It wasn't even a game.
No,
actually.
it was like
sorry
actually
to
a
all
bit.
Inter fans out there, but
It was quite embarrassing. It was quite embarrassing, it's true.
yeah.
But yeah, we deserved this one.
Lewis Hamilton, the racing driver. You've talked about Max. What is it about Lewis that impresses you so?
If you look at until last year, on Sunday, for me, it's all about his race pace. Like how he can start from the very back and end up racing George, you know, and fighting him when he's starting 18 and George is starting ahead. It's just this race pace advantage he had on his teammates when he was with Valtteri as well. The way he was like overtaking, and when he was in the pack, he was always having this different approach, his different lines, you know, avoiding dirty air. And if there's like this train of DRS cars and everyone is having 6 tenths gap between each other, he would have 3 tenths gap with the car that's ahead of him. I think his Sunday drive is mighty.
So if Lewis is all about Sundays, Ayrton Senna was all about Saturdays.
Senna for me is the fastest driver of all time. I think the best driver of all time is Lewis Hamilton, the best Formula One driver, the whole package, but the fastest is definitely Ayrton. Whether it's rain or dry or mixed conditions, it's Ayrton Senna.
Have you spent a lot of time looking at videos of him?
Yeah, I think kids my age, that's the only thing we had really, documentaries, films, and clips on YouTube. And just with that, just with this small amount, he was my idol growing up. So
Did you see the Senna documentary when it came out 10 years ago?
yes,
What
Yeah,
did you
this
think?
one. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I cried on that one.
Did you?
Yeah. Like actually I discovered Senna with this one. I was like 6 and I didn't know he died. Like I didn't know Ayrton Senna I didn't know who he was. So I was learning his story through the documentary, and when he died I was like completely broken.
And when you ran his colours on your helmet at Monaco this year, did the Senna family embrace that when you
Yes.
asked them?
Yeah, we made the request, they accepted it, they sent gifts. And I was so happy to I think it was for me, I could have done it in Brazil, but it had to be in Monaco for me, because growing up, I was watching those clips, was Senna in Monaco dominating. So I was like, if I had to do a special helmet for Senna, it would be in Monaco. And I was actually scared. I was like, if I had to wear his helmet, his colors, I need to be good. I need to,
You were. Great
I
race.
need to be good.
When you look at those in-car videos of Senna around Monaco, one of the things that really strikes me is the manual gear shift, right? It's nuts, isn't it? Just how they're able to
so
do
much
that.
hard work.
Is
in
there a
the
little
car.
bit of you that would like to see a manual shift come back? Because it was definitely an art form that is now being lost.
I think it wouldn't. When I look at how fast we downshift, we upshift the gears, and how late into the corners we downshift, I think it just wouldn't be possible. Like the car would be just way too fast. You'd just be losing time, but you're kind of missing out on pure racing as well. So yeah, with slower cars, we should absolutely.
Have you ever used a manual shift in a racing car?
I've only used sequential gears
Okay.
in F4 and Ginetta.
So you can't miss a gear with those, or can you?
You can,
Okay.
but it's quite easy to get out. The 8 gear pattern is just next level for me.
Do you know who I mean by Alan McNish? He did a lot of the test work for McLaren when Senna was at the team. Once a month, he used to go out to Suzuka and pound round testing the next Honda engine and that kind of thing.
Okay.
He told me that he got all the way to Formula One without using a clutch. He would just bang the gears through without a clutch, manual gear shift. So it was a different time.
That's different skill set.
Yeah.
Definitely that I don't have.
Yeah, but you develop it. That's the point,
Yeah, of
isn't
course. I would be in trouble if H gear would be a thing now. I would be in big trouble. Fernando would win all the races.
Can we talk about your family now? Because when you look at mum and dad, neither of whom have a background in racing. Racing is not the family business for you guys in the way that it is for Verstappen, for Leclerc, for Sainz. How unlikely was it that you were going to become a racing driver?
Impossible. I mean, it's just...
Where did it come from?
It came from... Actually, it came from me wanting to do that because I always had a car in hand, you know, just always loved cars. There was F1 in the background on TV, my dad was watching. And that was it really. First time I jumped in a go-kart, I was 5. My dad was doing rental karting, you know, with his friends. And
so dad's a racer. Dad's a closet racer, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Competitive when he's on a kart?
He's decent.
Is he?
He's decent, yeah. Even on the sim, he's pretty decent. But yeah, so like first time I saw go-kart, I was like so impressed, and all started here really.
Your dad is a quantum physicist, right?
Yeah.
What does he make of your chosen profession?
He's happy because it's the highest level. It's the pinnacle. I think we have similar career, let's say, in a way, where my dad had, you know, he grew up in Algeria, he was born there, just like my mom, and he made it to the highest level in physics. So I think in a way his path is as very, very impressive. And I think we have a similar one where we're very unlikely to arrive at the highest level, and we did. So I think he's proud, and yeah, that's it.
Is he disappointed that you didn't go to university? I mean, he's a senior researcher at, what is it, the University of Troy?
Yeah.
Is he disappointed that you've got your baccalaureate, right?
Not even.
Not even?
No. I actually couldn't take it. So I did all my school. I never did online school. I went to high school, college. Yeah, that's what you call it. And I couldn't take my baccalaureate. I was in Formula 3 at the time, and I had administration issues. They didn't let me take it. I couldn't take it the year after because I was already in F2. But yeah, see, he's not mad at me, but for him the target was having the scientific approach because he knows it's a tough sport. It's not only sports, it's also you're working with engineers, we're working with big brains, so he always wanted me to have like this scientific approach with which I have.
The engineers you work with,
yeah.
I've spoken to them prior to doing this interview, and they said you have a ferocious intelligence, was how it was phrased to me.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean,
the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree in terms of the brain power from your dad.
I think it's...
Do you enjoy the engineering aspect?
I love it.
Right.
If there's a bit I can make a difference, definitely in that aspect, especially on the long term. Like as a rookie, you can't do much because you're just learning and trying to go fast, and just driving fast is taking a lot of capacity from you. But in the future, I can focus and I have more experience, then I think outside the car I can make a huge difference. That's for sure.
Do you think you'll go back to university or go to university one day once the driving career's done?
I think while the driving career. If I'm well settled in F1, then why not?
What would you study?
Physics.
I suppose Dad could help you with that, right?
Yeah, I think. I didn't like him helping me out when I was at school. It was not good memories.
I guess if you understand a subject so well, it must be frustrating when you're trying to teach it to someone who may not get it the first time.
When he's on the sim and telling him I get mad with him, like very mad.
So it's mutual.
Exactly, it's very mutual.
You sound like you're very similar, you and your dad.
Yeah, we are.
Look, tell me
we are
about
like good friends.
Yeah. Tell me about Mum, Randa. Is she involved in the management of your career?
Yeah, she's my boss.
She's What's the best bit of advice that Mum's given you?
Oh, awful advices. They're very bad. Like, she's so protective.
Yeah. She's a parent. That's understandable.
She's my mom. So like, I just she's handling my career like very well. She's the one that brought me to Formula One. Just by herself.
What do you mean when you say that? She's the one that brought you to Formula One? Only that you said a little bit earlier that it's thanks to Red Bull, or did she help put the deal together with Helmut?
Didn't, but find the financial needs to go racing. She did. Since go-kart. In the F1 world, we're nothing. Like we're not there. And she's the one that, we kind of took a weird path through Formula One and we kind of made it. But she's the one that worked 10 times more than anyone to make sure I could get there.
So who's part of your entourage? Who comes to races with you?
The Hadjar team is my trainer.
Yep.
My mum.
Mum's at every race?
Nearly. No, she's doing the one that's close from Paris, let's say. Guillaume. You know Guillaume?
Guillaume Le Goff.
Le Goff.
So actually, Guillaume works with Pierre.
Yes.
Pierre Gasly.
Yeah. I have...
Bit of
Guillaume.
a French super team there.
Exactly.
Can you imagine being a teammate of Pierre's in the future?
I would love to. That would be cool. Be very cool. And my photographer, Liam Fabre. He's from Monaco. So that's my crew.
Well, I have loved getting to know you a little better. Thank you very much for your time. I mean, let's end this just by throwing it forwards. What are your goals for the rest of the year?
Yeah, the natural trajectory as a Red Bull junior driver is to end up at Red Bull, right? I think the only thing I can do now is just I'm so happy within my team and I'm just learning so much every weekend. I just want to keep doing that. It's the only thing I'm like. Just enjoy it, enjoy the fights with the other guys, and don't disappoint myself.
When is the right time to make the step up to Red Bull? If you got the call this year, would you feel ready?
No, but I'll take it.
You would take it?
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't be in a position to say no? I mean, if Helmut...
No, because I'm a fighter. That's all.
And when you see how difficult it's been for Liam in the past, for Yuki now...
It makes it... I'm just curious. That's it.
Curious to drive the car, see what it's like.
Yeah. What drives me is fighting against the best in the world. And to have Max as a teammate, I would learn so much. It would be so interesting that...
Do you get on with Max?
I do. I mean, I think he's a very chill guy. He gets on with everyone and... as long as it's fine on track, obviously. But he's a cool guy, yes.
Final question, and this is something I'm asking everybody on the pod this year. Formula One is 75 years old in 2025. Is there a favourite moment that you have from all of F1 history?
Oh, I'm going to be so controversial now. And I love it.
Bring it on.
Brazil 21.
Brazil 21.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big Lewis fan, right?
Yeah, that was peak Lewis Hamilton.
That was big. Yeah.
He was good. He was good, wasn't it? The sprint, everything.
Oh, it was amazing. Amazing weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.